Hey, what's up guys? Today I'm going to show you how to chip a Mark III Volkswagen's ECU. If by the end of this video you have any doubts in yourself, please just take it to your local shop and have them do it, even if it costs you a small fee. It's not worth breaking something, and I can't be held accountable for any mishaps you might have. So let's get started. Before you guys start, this is what you're going to need. You're going to need a flathead screwdriver, a Phillips head screwdriver, either a 10mm wrench or socket. I'm using a socket and ratchet, it's a little bit easier. By now I already assume you have your performance chip and a cup or a bowl to put your nuts and bolts in. The ECU of a Mark III Volkswagen is located under the hood. So now that you got your hood popped, what you're going to want to do is locate the passenger side rain tray, which is at the very bottom of the windshield underneath your passenger windshield wiper. It's this little plastic tray right here, and underneath of it is where your ECU is located. As you guys can see, the ECU is held on by this weather strip, which you can just remove by pulling up. You don't have to remove it completely from the car, just place it on the side, it'll be safe. And held on by these little plastic screws, and there's usually 4 of them, but I only have 3. So what you're going to need is your Phillips head screwdriver, and possibly your flathead screwdriver if they're a little bit tricky for you. Now I got my Phillips head screwdriver, what I'm going to do is just unscrew them, and what happens is the top separates from the bottom half and it'll rise up, and then you just pull them out, and that's what they look like. Once you guys get all those removed, the next thing that's holding back your rain tray from coming free is this little thing here. You're going to slide it to your left, and there your rain tray will loosen from the right side of you and now be able to be lifted freely from the car. Pulling the rain tray out, be careful because on the corner back there it sticks up below. And once you have your rain tray back, you can see right here is your ECU, and here are the 2 bolts that are holding your ECU on. So the next thing you're going to want to grab is your 10mm wrench or your 10mm socket. Alright guys, once you get your 10mm wrench or ratchet, you're going to go ahead and loosen up these 2 bolts that are holding it down. Alright, once you guys get your bolt here removed, your nut here loosened, there's little plastic clips that attach to the wire down here that goes to the ECU. This one right here you only need to usually pull up on, and the wire will slip out. There's 2 of them, so I suggest just popping them out, make it a little safer so you don't damage them, they're fragile. Once that's out, the ECU should move pretty freely. You might have to take a little wiggling, as you can see, to get it out of the compartment. Alright, so the only thing holding on your ECU now is the wiring harness, and it simply detaches by pulling up on this little plastic handle, and you basically pull it up, and you're going to make sure you want to pull it all the way up, and then what it does is it detaches itself from the ECU. Now your ECU is free, and now we're going to go inside and tear it apart and put your performance chip in. Alright guys, now we're in the house. We're going to go ahead and rip apart the ECU and install the performance chip. Working in a static-free environment for the most part, not wearing any sweatpants or sweatshirt that might cause static. Touch metal or something before you start to help get rid of any static charge you might have. Static electricity destroys electronics, and we're working with electronics. And you're also going to want to grab yourself a T15 Torx screwdriver or a similar sized Allen head, and a flat head screwdriver again, but a little bit smaller because we're going to be prying that ECU chip out. So first what we're going to do is remove this metal bracket off the back of the ECU. And if you can tell, it is held on by 4 screws in each corner. And we're going to remove them with our Phillips screwdriver, take the back out. Alright guys, once you get those 4 screws off, your brackets off, and now we're ready to start ripping apart the actual ECU itself. Now that you have the bracket removed from the ECU, we're going to go ahead and disassemble it. And to do this, there are 4 Torx screws on each corner. So you're going to take your T15 Torx screwdriver or similar Allen head and remove each one. Now that you have removed all the Torx head screws, I suggest finding a piece of metal to touch to discharge any electricity you might have. The desk I'm working on is metal, so I'm going to touch that. And now what we're going to do is separate the black part from the silver part of the ECU, and it might take a little effort. Just wiggle it very lightly. If you're having a little bit of issue, you can use your little screwdriver to pry it apart. Mine popped apart, so now I'm going to remove it very carefully. Alright, now here's your ECU. This is what they all should similarly look like. This is particularly for my vr6, so it might have a little bit more, might have a little bit less than yours. And the stock chip is right here, located in this corner, if you can see. And that's the chip that we're going to remove, and we're going to replace with this, which is our performance chip that we now will hopefully get some more horsepower out of and some more miles per gallon. Alright, now we're going to remove the stock chip and replace it with your performance chip. Things you might use to do this are a flathead screwdriver. Mine's a little bit too big, so I'm going to use a screwdriver and delicately pry from these two corners to get underneath of it. They're the ones with the opening, and try to pull it up. I'm a little bit more gung-ho with this because I have a backup, but if you feel like you're going to break something, I suggest stop and take it to somebody. There might be a tool that is meant for this, but this is all I have to work with at the time being, so I'm going to use a screwdriver to remove it. So I'm going to put it down, push up, and well, this chip popped right out for me. No issues. Here's your stock ECU chip once again, and here's the board with the stock chip removed. Now you're going to grab your performance chip and flip it over. Now when you look at it from the bottom, you will see that there are 4 corners. One of these corners is not an actual corner, but is like a cut corner. And if you look on the board, on mine it is the bottom left, right here, the bottom left corner, where the notch is instead of the point. You're going to line it up with your chip, and that's the way your chip's going to pop into your board. Now once you have those, you see where they go. You're just going to put the chip right on top. Try to be careful. You don't want to force it and bend anything. I'm going to set it down here just to be careful. Yeah, there we go. Now the chip is back into where it's supposed to be. Mine has this little extra board on it I forgot to mention earlier. Not all chips have that. I'm not exactly sure why this one has it. I've seen them before, and I've seen on my other car that it does not have this board. So you might have it, you might not. If not, you're just going to take that little chip, which should resemble the one you have if you don't have a board type set, and push it in the same way. Now as a thing, you're going to just basically reassemble everything, put all your screws back together, and enjoy your new performance chip in your car. Alright guys, once you get your ECU back assembled, and basically you just do everything again to put everything back on your car, and hopefully once you get it all back together, you enjoy your new ECU chip and you get some more horsepower out of it, maybe some more miles per gallon. If you like what you saw, if you have any questions, if I forgot something, hated what you saw, you can leave it below in a comment box, and I'll be sure to read it and maybe respond to it if needed. If you like what you saw or also hated what you saw, there's a little subscribe box up here. You subscribe to my stuff, show me a little love, some support, or just get to watch my videos and hate on me more. Any support helps, good or bad. So, hope you guys have a good day. Enjoy your car. As always, peace and pancakes.